Hello, it's John from Shopkeep Easy, and today I am joined with a fantastic charity called Fab, Birmingham Fab Camps. They'll be able to explain a little bit more about what they do, but they contacted me this week. They've had a bit of a change with some trustees moving, and they basically said, look, we've had a shop with you for quite a few years. Um, can you tell us about it? And a bit like I've been doing recently with some of our other webinars, I thought it would be a great opportunity to talk to a charity and explain all the different features and benefits with the Shopkeep Easy platform. So that's what we're going to do today. We've got Jen, Andrew, Paul, and Maxine. Say hi, everyone.
Hello.
And we're going to be able to, we'll get some questions from them. We'll kind of walk through, they've already had a shop for a while, but to some of them, it will be, we're now joined by Andrew as well. And to some of them, it'll be a bit new. So, hello, Andrew. I've just done a bit of an introduction onto on what we're doing on this video, but hopefully you'll be able to catch up. So let me just jump on and I'll share my screen. Make a start there. There you go. So we've got two parts to our platform. We've got the front end shop that your customers or supporters see. And we've got the back end, which we call the shop admin, which you can see here, which is what you control. And you can assign different administrators to have different roles in here. I won't click into it because it shows all the different personal details, but you can add or manage admin roles from there. On our top menu here, it's a little bit like a chronological process of your shop. So we've got an add the shop out item, manage it. If you hold stock of anything, you can manage it there. You can look at your orders. You can design your shop, your supporter shop, and you can market it. And then obviously the button right on the right is visit shop, and that is obviously the shop that your supporters go to, and that's the thing that you link to your website or whatever you want to do. So if we just jump into add shop items, so we think that we've covered all the different elements that you might want to collect money for as an organization. And so there's 6 different types of box. So catalog items is the items that we have partnered up with lots of different suppliers. We're not really bound by any supplier contractual things, so basically anybody, and you can then personalize those items with either your embroidered or printed designs. You can do gifts, clothing, loads and loads of different stuff, and I'll jump into that in a minute. You can sell your own items. So why would you use this? So let's say there were some things that your members created. You could sell those from here. Let's say you ordered a batch of, I don't know, Birmingham Fab Camps pens. Again, you could sell them from there. You can use that however you want, of stuff that you want to manage. This stuff is the stuff that we manage and we ship direct to the customer. You don't have to deal with it. This stuff is the stuff that you might want to. So as I was talking earlier, we've done one with artists. They might have their own original artwork, so they might want to sell that on here. Second-hand items, and I'll just show you very quickly how easy it is. It's literally just a very simple page, and you just say, I don't know, let's say they created Christmas cards, and you'd add a little bit of a description. You'd upload an image of, whatever a photo of their Christmas cards, which would replace that image there. And maybe there's, I don't know, 2 different types that you've got. One which is a 10 card set and one which is a 20 card set. And you might want to charge, I don't know, £3 for the 10 card set and £8 for the, oh, not 80, that's quite a lot, £8 for the 20 card set. And then you also have the ability to manage your stock, because they may have only made, I don't know, 3 10 card sets and 10 20 card sets. So, and then you select what shop page you want to put it on. Now, these are managed by you, so you can basically create, at the moment, you've got a shop page called T-shirts, one called jackets and coats, one called, you can manage it however you want, and you might want to call that, and you can see how many items you've got on each shop page. But when you go to the supporter shop, you'll see that there's a drop down, and they can select which shop to go and visit. So lots of different organizations use that for different things. So a school might have a preschool, and they might have a PE shop. Some might have a staff items one, because you can hide it. So you could say, actually, I don't want members of the public to be able to access this or see it, but I want certain people to have access to it. So there's the link. So there's different ways that you can manage it. So let's say we want to add it to hoodies, but we'd probably create one called Christmas gifts, because it's Christmas cards. Then you can choose whether you want to have the cards collected from you, or if you're going to send it. And then if you're going to send it, it gives you a little preview of the checkout box, and you can basically say, okay, the item price includes postage costs. We're going to ship it out within 5 days, and that kind of changes this. And then you launch it. It's launched it with that. It's very easy. And then once you've sold out of that stock, it removes it from your website automatically. So it's quite useful. Then if we go to second-hand items, this shows all the different items. Sorry, is there any questions on that? No.
The postage, sorry, how do we, if we were charging postage and the items are ordered from you, how does that work?
So what we've done with the own items that you're selling, the only way that you can really do that is incorporate the postage into the price of the item.
Right. Okay. So could we do that with other? Oh no, because they're bought from us. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm with you.
Yes, the things that are bought from you that we ship, we already control all that, and that has the postage.
That's fine. I understand. Sorry.
Now, this is something that we added a while ago, because we're really big into recycling and environmental stuff. So if you've got items that are donated back to you, so it could be your own hoodies or items that you have, or in a school it might be lost property, for example, because there's always an amounting thing. You can make money out of that. So literally you select, we've made it as easy as possible. You literally select the item that you've got, it puts up a little image of that item, it puts a little second-hand banner, you select what size it is. So let's say it was, I don't know, adult large, and it puts that, and then you say fairly good quality, hardly been worn, whatever you want to put. Select what shop page you want to put it on. This one would obviously be on the hoodies, or you might create a new shop page called second-hand items, and the normal price is that, but you might actually only want £10 for it, or £5 for it, or whatever you want to do, and you launch it. And again, it adds it as a unique stock item, just that one of that size, and then as soon as it's bought, you can deal with it, and it's taken off your shop. Then as a charity, there's a few things here which are really useful. So I'll come back to the catalogue thing, because that's probably the main bit. I'll come back to that at the end. So tickets and subscriptions. So if you've got an event coming up, you can basically collect payments for those tickets. So let's say it was I mean, at the moment, everything seems to be virtual events. But anyway, so we have a virtual such and such event. And if you're just wanting to collect a list of people that are going to be attending it, you might just want to just do it free, so it doesn't cost anybody anything. But then you've got their email addresses and you can communicate with them. You can do one-off payments. And again, if it's applicable for gift aid, you can tick the box, and it will collect gift aid consent after checkout. So you can then collect that information and get 25% more, which is great. You can also do weekly recurring or monthly recurring payments. So if for memberships or things like that, and it collects the money straight away. And then you add a description, upload an image. It's the same process really as I've just gone through before. So it's very, very similar. Similarly with
did the gift aid option just disappear when you made it regular?
When I made it monthly or weekly subscriptions, yes, we've found that quite difficult to do, because they're making a new donation, and we couldn't quite. it was going to take a lot more work to do that than, but maybe at some point, if everybody, if we have thousands and thousands of people requesting it and saying, oh, we just really got to have this, then we'd put the time in, because this is a bespoke software system, so we can develop things. But at the moment, we've got...
if we used it for regular giving, we'd only want to do that with gift aid, because that represents so much gift aid. So regular subscription, no, but if it was a regular donation,
yes,
no, that's fine. Thank you.
Got it. I'll make a note of that, and we'll see when we can fit that into our roadmap. The other thing we've got is donations, which are similar sort of thing, but we can actually provide actual physical rewards. So, and we need to discuss that and talk about that. So, for example, engraved bricks or engraved bronze leaves, where you can, and this shop, we give an example of it. They did it for a 3G sports pitch, and you could basically click on a brick, you entered what text you wanted on there, and then you could literally just add it to your basket. It's treated as a donation. We do the gift aid automatically, but then we've got suppliers that engrave the bricks, ship it, and you can basically then lay that in a pathway.
Wow.
Whatever. And they raised £25,000 in about 6 months, plus the gift aid. So I think it was around about the 30 or just over £30,000, which was fantastic.
Wow.
So that's that. Local business items is a really interesting one. So you will have supporters that work in local businesses that potentially want to support you, but maybe, especially at this time, can't really afford to cut a check for a huge amount or whatever. So you can negotiate a deal with them where maybe they give a 20% discount, or let's say it's a 40% discount on their products or services, and you can add that onto your shop. But maybe you give your supporters a 20% discount. So you as a charity make 20%, your supporter gets 20% discount, but it drives traffic to your shop so that, it's becomes more of a local service community shop rather than just purely a fab charity merchandise shop, if you see what I mean. So it becomes more of a community supported thing. And you could add anything. It could be the local car wash, or oven cleaning services or whatever. It needs some thought about how you manage that, but you've got that functionality. So if we go to the catalog items, so there's different types of things that you can personalize and design for your charity. And so the thing that you've mostly used, Andrew, for your thing when you've been managing it is the other clothing. We've actually been doing a massive review of this over the last few weeks and / months, and we've added lots of other different things. So for example, in the hoodies section, we've got different styles of hoodies. So sleeveless hoodies, we've got striped arm hoodies, we've got Zoodies, which is the zipped hoodies. We've got cropped top hoodie. Oh, where's that? Somewhere. We've got a line hoodie. There you go. There's the cropped hoodie. So there's lots and lots of different things. And literally all you do is you click on the hoodie. So in this case, this baseball one, you add it to whichever shop page, or you create a new shop page like I showed before. You want to personalize it. Maybe you want a pink one, or I don't know, burgundy or whatever. Let's pick that. And then you can choose where you want to add your design to. So left chest, right chest, center front. Most of your things have added it to the left chest. The great thing about this is it gives you the flexibility. So let's say you wanted to add your new logo that you've been...
Oh my gosh, I got so excited when I saw that.
Let's actually pick one of your other ones, because we haven't approved that yet. But so maybe this one, because it's got the white embroidered text, it would go on the grey better. So yes, I confirm that color is okay. Now this is where you could get sponsorship from a corporate, and you could add their logo onto the right arm or something. So you could say all our hoodies will feature such and such estate agents, or Barclays Bank, or whoever it is. And they're much more likely to give you quite a lot of money for that than I don't know, a banner at a fair or an event,
Sure.
because it's worn all the year round. So it's quite good. You can also then give your supporters the option to personalize it themselves. So let's say you want to give them the option to embroider their name under. To be honest, because you've got so much text underneath, I probably wouldn't do that, but they might want to print their name on the upper back and print their initials on the right chest. Okay, so
I've got a quick question about that.
Yeah.
Because we used to do quite big statements on the back, which were always very helpful to us. Whenever I was wearing one, I always got questioned about it. How big a statement can we put on the back of these days?
Yeah, so if you go to add a design, so let's say you wanted to center up a back and you wanted to add a statement. So that wouldn't be a customer requested personalization. It would be a something that you did.
Yes.
So you'd add it to there, and then you'd add a new design, add a printed design. And we've got a design guide, which hopefully will pop up. And it basically talks about all the different types of printing and what the sizes are for different things. So it's a 2-page document, and I'd advise you kind of have a look at that. But you'd basically then create the design here that you then approve, and you'd maybe say, actually, I haven't got an image, but can you just add text, whatever the statement is, support fab, in white. And then we basically, once we've done that and added that text, it would then appear here, and you could then add it to the upper back. You could select it and add it, and then every time a person orders that hoodie, the option for sorry, I'm just getting a bit distracted there. The option for printing on the upper back then would be removed. It'd grey out because you've already added something in that area. And you might just say, oh, actually, I want them to just print their initials on the right chest, give them that option. But then that hoodie would have those things that you've then positioned on it when it's ordered.
Yeah, sounds really good. And I have to say, the statements on the back of these, I think are really effective. And we always used to have them. And when I wear my old ones, I still, if I'm in a cafe, anything like that, I guess get asked, what is this about? Just on the ad design bit, have you got upper back? Have you got back center as well?
Yes,
have we got accessibility?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yes, back there.
And so the second question I was going to ask, because the new products look great, like the sleeveless hoodies and stuff like that. I mean, it's fantastic what you've added to the site, and I think it will catch the imagination of a lot of our users. Just wanted to ask, is there a limit in our current, with the current account membership we've got with you, to the number that we can add to our page and use?
Let me come back to that in a minute. I'll just finish adding this item, and then see, it won't let you add it because you've reached the limit. So it's a good segue. It's a good segue into,
I thought that might be the case. Yeah.
So
just on the same point, I noticed that you were saying that we select the colour that we sell.
Yeah.
Every colour we select, is that a unique item, or is there the option just to put up hoodies and then people to be able to select their own colour from the unlimited range?
So you build your shop. So you select which colour you want to offer on your shop. Now, if you want to add loads of different items, so let me go to I'll go to this Adult Community College. Yeah, who are using our platform here. So this is the way that they've designed it. So if I go to their official SACC clothing, and you can see here on this hoodie, they've got loads and loads of different colors, but each one of those colors they've added. So it does take a while to get set up. And as you can see here, you can pick Candy Floss Pink. It's got a picture of their Candy Floss hoodie once it's loaded. There we go. And I can then print my name on the back. And yeah, I spelt my name correctly. Add to cart, nice and easy. So it's very simple once it's built. But because it's your shop and your, if you were doing it through a normal shop management software thing, you'd have to enter all the SKUs and all these different information. So it's much, much easier, but it's not, because it's your shop, and also because predominantly if you were a club or a school especially, you know, you wouldn't be able to say, oh, just pick any color of sweatshirt. You know, you'd need specific colors. So that's why we've designed it in that way.
Does each color of hoodie or whatever class as a separate item?
It does. Yeah. Yes, it does. And actually also, we don't allow you to add the same color on the same we don't allow you to add the same color on the same shop page with a different logo, and we've done that from security reasons as well, just for confusion. Again, with schools or whatever, you might get somebody, you know, it might say, I don't know, preschool, and they might go on there thinking it's going to be this logo, and maybe if they'd added a different one as well, it would just be confusing. So
we've got a unique event coming up in the summer, which is prompted us to have a look at our shop again. So any item that we've got in a polo t-shirt for our regular camps, we'd have to choose a unique color to have the logo of our summer event. Is that right?
No, you can have, sorry, it's the same color. So you can't add 2 navy hoodies with different logos on the same shop page.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So you can add lots of different multiple colors with that, but you can't add 2 lots of the same color onto the same shop page.
So if we had burgundy for our regular camps, then with our regular camp logo on, for our summer event, with a unique logo, we'd have to choose any color but burgundy.
Well, no. Am I thinking that what we would do is we would just have a separate page for our summer event, and then we could do whatever we wanted, but it would be on that summer event page?
That would be the most logical way, because then people are trying to find, you know, the summer event thing. And actually, you could link to that shop page as well. So that could be that you go direct to it, order your summer event item, and you could link straight through to that page.
Oh, okay, I'd missed that. So it's per shop page rather than per shop.
Yes, per shop page. I know it's a bit confusing. We've tried to think of what to call it over the years of different things, but you know, shop page is what's stuck.
No, perfect, thank you.
We've also got quite. Yeah, I'm probably the most untrendy person, but we've got, you know, we've got quite trendy things. So in the sportswear stuff, for example, we've actually got Under Armour items as well. So it's kind of proper branded stuff that you can add your logos to. The only thing with that, I mean, it might, you know, sometimes some people feel a bit awkward about having another brand associated, but it's definitely, with the younger generation, it's definitely quite a desirable item. So there's lots of kind of sporty things as well that you can pick. The other thing I just wanted to draw your attention.
We've never looked at the sportswear stuff, but we've had several people who have offered to run marathons and half marathons for us, and we've always said it'd be lovely to be able to carry our branding around a marathon or a half marathon.
A standard t-shirt, because of course they're just not, you know.
No, exactly. Exactly.
And now we know how to manage it. You can put it up for a short amount of time, can't you? And then take it off.
Exactly. And that's the reason we give you this control, because we don't know what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. And so you need to have this control, and you need to be able to hide things or take things off or whatever. So it does take some managing, but it's not as much management if you were running it through a conventional site where you'd have to do all the intricate details, because dealing with personalized product is quite complicated. So it's, you know, so we've tried to make it as easy as possible. You can also get items down to really, one of my favorite ones is this baseball bodysuit, because actually, so it's from zero, right? But you can then go up to the t-shirts for, you know, adults, and you've got a baseball.
Oh, fabulous.
So you can take it all the way up to, you know, adults, and you could have it, you know, at all the different ages. So it'd be quite funny. But So as you can see here in the t-shirts as well, we've totally revamped this. So we've got the sports stuff, which have got that wicking fabric, and contrast items as well, even camo thing. I mean, we've got lots of different options, which is really great. Similarly with, I think, polo shirts as well. We've even got like a contrast polo. We've got this thing, which you probably want to go and play polo with or something. If you ever get sponsored by a polo club, there you go. And we've also got
can I ask on a certain fabrics that you wouldn't recommend though, because we've got quite a heavy logo, haven't we, with the embroidery? And I know I had a couple of sample t-shirts made when we had our 50th logo, and they were just so weighty that they just pulled the t-shirts out of shape. And
I would say whenever I would look, when you go into the item, it does tell you the weight of it. So in this case, 180 grams. And I would say, you know, always try and err more on the weightier side, because when it's really, really super thin. And I would say for sports items, because they typically are a bit thinner, I would look to maybe get a print rather than an embroidery.
I'd agree. Yeah. Okay.
The other thing also that we've got is an eco range of items, and we're quite passionate about this. It tends to lend itself a bit more to uniform items, but we've got a whole kind of section here. But all these items are made from recycled plastic bottles in there. It's 100% polyester. And when we've actually, through that range, they've saved over 20 million 2-litre plastic bottles going into landfill.
Wow.
Amazing. So that's really good. And also the water bottles in our eco range, which I'll show you in a minute.
John, quick question.
Yeah.
You mentioned print. Do we have the option to print our logo onto clothing at the moment, or is it just that we
haven't got that set up
at the moment?
Yeah, no. You haven't got it set up. So you need to go to your designs and add, a bit like we did before, and add a design and create printed design.
Okay.
And then once you've kind of created it, there are some charges, because sometimes I think we have to charge for a sort of we call it pre-prints, because it's actually quite expensive for our suppliers to, when you get one item ordered, to print one logo and then to apply it to the thing. So what we do is, rather than you order 100 items, which would be quite costly, we say, why don't you order, 20 or 50, I can't remember how many it is, pre-prints. So they've kind of got them on a sheet. And then when an item's ordered, they can just print it on or heat press it on.
Okay, and just to say, our logo is obviously colourful, as you can see. I think we do somewhere have just a black outline of the logo, so it's a white fill. When we're doing printed, would that make any difference? Would it be better just to have a printed single colour logo, or does it make no difference when it's multicoloured?
When it's as complicated as the one you've got, to be honest, print is the way to go, because and you've got all the faded colours, and actually that's quite difficult to do with embroidery.
Yeah.
So I would say print is probably the best, but embroidery can look really nice. So and also on certain fabrics like fleecy, like type fleeces and things like that, you can't print on those. So embroidery is good on fleecy, fluffy type of fabrics.
No, that's great. I mean, I didn't know previously that we had the opportunity to go down the print line. So, and that would certainly be better on, thin t-shirts and stuff like that for the summer, the print design. And you're saying we don't need to worry about just doing a monocolor print design.
No, because
multicolor's fine.
We're not screen printing it, which is where they put it. Talks about it in that design guide that I clicked on when you go to there. But screen printing is where they put it on big, sort of round, and it's more of a mass printing process, and they layer the paint on, and it goes through this a silk screen. What we would be doing for this is a transfer print. So basically, they print it on a special paper. They kind of heat press it onto the item. It's fixed on there. You can wash it and everything. It's all fine. Most things are transfer printed, but you can print it in any type of color. But sometimes if you're transferring onto a dark fabric. You might want to do an undercoat to the print so that it's more vibrant. But again, if you're getting those pre-prints done, that will all have that done anyway.
I think it's really good in the sense that I think it will open things up for us. We've been doing the hoodies and the polo shirts over recent years because the embroidery goes well on a polo shirt, not well on an ordinary t-shirt. So if we've got this printed option back, then we can go with
you've got
ordinary
so
t-shirts
many,
as well, which is
with
great.
all the fact that you can print on the back and do all that stuff, you've got so many options, and that's why I thought it was really useful to have this conversation, because we never really had a proper conversation about it. The last thing, just to blow your minds, is gifts to sell. So as a charity, this is really quite a nice thing. So what we have here is these are all personalized on-demand items, and you can create your own items, even Apple Watch straps designed with your own design. So let me show you very quickly how easy this is to do. Let's go to, a personalized induction charger. So this is, I've actually got one in front of me now that I have my phone on. Let me just take it out. There we go. So I've got a picture from one of our sort of holidays, and it charges your phone. It's like a photo frame, and it charges up while on your desk. So you just put your phone on, and and very soon we're adding mobile phone cases as well. So there you go.
Oh, fabulous.
Right. So what you do here is you select which shop page you want to put it on. So let's say, well, it doesn't really fit with anything, but we'll put it on bags for now. You then you press design item, and so that's the face of that induction charger. And what you then do is you add your image. So I've already pre-created one.
Oh wow!
Reposition it. There we go. I think you should put it there, and you can even add some text. So you could say, I don't know, come and support us on whatever date or whatever, and then you just sort of move that down or change the font, press finish, and there you go. And then you can literally just then add that to your shop. I won't do it, but it's literally, it's very, very, very simple, and you can do some really crazy different items. So as I said, Apple Watch straps are really cool. You have to give a lot of thought to what the design is, because so that's black fittings, gold fittings, there's loads of different things, but because it's so long and thin, it's, you need to think about the sort of different designs you've got on that. It probably wouldn't work with this. It looks a bit weird with the but it's pretty cool. So so that's really good. The other thing, so canvases, that's for art that your members might create. Ceramic mugs, a Bluetooth speaker, you're doing the sort of the wrap on that, that's really cool. So they're quite modern. Christmas decorations is really good for when you're coming up to that. Key fobs, personalized lunchbox, which actually one of our artists that we're doing has said, actually this would be a really good mixing palette, because they can put the paints in there and then print on the lid. Could be really interesting. So there's some really cool thing. So this is why I think you've been scratching the surface a little bit, but I think there's a lot of clocks. You can even design your own sunglasses, right? So
oh my goodness,
you could literally, here we go, let's add that rainbow thing onto there again. So you can literally, and then you can look on the left side and you can add it to the left and the right side. So it's basically a total design of sunglasses for Birmingham Fab Camps. But the great thing with these items is you don't have to order a bulk load, because most of the time you have to order 100 or a 500 or whatever. Literally, you stick it on your shop, you price it the way that you want to price it. I'll go on to the pricing. Normally, it's when you add it, it comes up with the next step where you can price it. But this is where you can, I think what I'll do, let me think. I'll just go on. I won't show this at this moment just because.
So just while we're doing this, if I can just update the others just a little on our thinking around this in the past. So just so you know, the reason we haven't done a lot more of these things is everything you're seeing right now, we will pay extra to do. So what we've been doing so far is using pretty much everything we can for our free account. So to start doing the things that you're looking at here, we'll start to have to pay some kind of subscription to do. So that's something I know John will take us through, and we'll get to hear the pros and cons of that. In terms of pricing, we have done just the smallest of markups, like the literally minimal pennies, just to make sure that we're not making any loss on this. And to also make sure, and we may change our policy on this, but actually knowing our user group to make sure that we're not profiteering out of them. Now we could change that in future. Maybe people would want to think that extra money is going to us. But obviously, for very obvious reasons, we wanted to make sure we weren't doing that, knowing who we were encouraging to go to this site. Nevertheless, because of that small markup, you will see at the top of the page that over the course of 5 years, we have nevertheless built up a bit of a buffer. So that buffer that we have built up, which is £314.28, could indeed be used at this step. We could pull that out at any point. We've never pulled it out, we've just allowed it to grow. But actually that could be used for anything you might decide to do after today.
So could that money that's sitting there tick over for the subscription if we did decide to subscribe? Is that how we'd cover the subscription?
And actually, depending on, so if we go to that now, so you've got a fund account you can see here, and it's basically it's like a bank statement. You can kind of see all the ins and outs in your account. And so what you can see here, for example, is a customer paid £34.40 for an order, and we then automatically deduct our fulfillment charge, which was £32.46. So you're then left with about £2 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That then accumulates in your fund. But obviously, depending on how you price it, so I'll go back into that example. This is an example school shop we created. Literally, there is a pricing pop-up thing where it tells you what our fulfillment price is, but you can choose what to actually price for the item on your shop, and you can choose whatever you want. So it shows you what the margin is that will accumulate. So it gives you ultimate flexibility when you're adding, I don't know, an apron or whatever it is, and you might say, actually, no, not 13, I want £15. And students use this in enterprise projects at schools because it can give them a really good example and a real world education about price, profit, margin, literacy, where they're describing the product, marketing, research, etc., etc. So there's some really interesting learning applications of this as well that you could potentially get some of your members talking about as well within your organization. I don't know. Yes, to come on what Andrew said, so that's where that is. And if I click on upgrade account, so you're currently, because you're an old account with us, you're currently on the free one, which is really what we have for the students for their enterprise projects. Our standard subscription price is £9 a month, but we've got different levels as well. To be honest, with the number of items, and I think you could probably do a review on how many items you have. I don't think you necessarily, because I think at the moment you've got 120 items. So you might want, I don't know, it's up to you. But basically, if you wanted to keep it low, our £9 one allows you to have up to 50 items. But when you go up to the £30 a month, it's basically unlimited on everything. So basically that is the all singing, all dancing one, where all the features are unlocked. It's unlimited. The ultimate one is for if you're wanting to do multiple shops. So if you were, so like the adult college that I talked about, they're wanting to set up shops for their construction team to help their construction industry, do some workwear and things like that. But you don't really need that. So it would be between these two. But if you're wanting to do lots and lots of items,
John,
yeah,
John, just to ask you a question. I mean, obviously, when we set this up with you, we set it up right at the beginning of the existence of this site. So in fact, we've already got a lot more in our free account. We've already got a lot more items that are even on offer to us in your in the £9 upgrade. Haven't we?
So you've currently got, yes, you've got 120. So you've currently got many more, but as you've seen, you can't add anything new.
Yeah.
So if you deleted an item, it still wouldn't allow you to add another one.
We'd have to delete right down to the 25.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's why. So you're right, but because when we did this deployment probably about a year and a bit ago, we kind of said, well, do we now switch you off and say, oh, you've got to upgrade? And we thought, no, that's not fair. So we've allowed all the accounts that we had to keep going, but you know, it still falls within the rules of the thing. So
yeah, John, I mean, firstly, just to say thank you for that. You know, we really appreciate it. And yeah, obviously we've got some decisions to make after this as to whether we stick with the shop as is and what we've got with it, or whether we do make the changes. Obviously, I can see if we were to make the changes, we've got to make some kind of shift in accounts. So for instance, because like you say, if we take things off, we can't add them back on. Things like having a brand new page for this year's summer event, we literally won't be able to do unless we change the account, because we won't have that flexibility.
What you could do, thinking of the most cost-effective thing, is you could set up another shop on our platform, pay the £9 a month, so you could still have this up and running with your 120 items, but then create a standard shop for £9 a month, and that could be used for your summer event. It makes things a little bit confusing for people, but you know, that would keep those costs down and enable you to have these 120 items plus new items up to 50 for, you know, other things. So you could do that. It's up, that's for you to think about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So food for thought.
Yeah, exactly. And the
so
other thing
just final question on that, John. So if we did decide to cut everything right down so that we could have a whole range of items, but only 50, as it were. Yeah. It would mean taking a lot of the options on clothing out. So the huge number of options we've got on colour and stuff at the moment. But you know, that might be a way we could go. I know that, okay, each different type of clothing counts as one, and each colour counts as one. Does each size count as one, or do we get full range of sizes on each item?
Yeah, you get full range, and so so if I go into the items, and let me pick one that's got different sizes. I'll do this in the. I don't want to show the pricing just because it's on a video, so I'll go into this other sample thing. So if I go onto this T-shirt, so you've got all the sizes. This is just counted as one item that's got this print on it or whatever. But the other thing that you can do, you have the flexibility of disabling certain sizes on your shop if you want to. So you might decide to say, this is for junior Fab Camp members, this is for adult. We try and display as many sizes as you can possibly get in that range of item. And you might say, actually, I want to disable those sizes. So I only want to show those sizes as options. That's just another feature.
Okay.
I can go into, there's so many different features, but you can also go into the item and edit it manually here. So you can literally go in, edit the item. Oh, the other thing that I don't know whether on some of your items, I don't think you've done this. And it's probably because of the way that we had that image of the logo for you. It's not necessarily the best way of doing it. I'll show it on here. When you press create new image, we bring up the image of the plain item. You click on your logo and you can basically drag it and position it on your item as the main image. You can do that on your shop, but at the moment it's got the background of the item, what I mean, and it looks a bit rubbish. What we need to do is we need to just re-upload an image to that thing, so it's got white, which we can do. I can do that for you. So
okay.
So anyway, that's just, so there's various controls that you have. You can feature them on the shop homepage. There's lots of different things. Then stock, if you hold any stock, or if someone brings an item back to you that you want to hold in stock, you can resell it. We make that really easy and you can manage the stock in here. So these burgundy backpacks, you can literally go in and edit how much you're holding, and then when somebody's going to check out, we kind of allow for the stock numbers and say, actually, this is available at the place, you can collect it from them, rather than us manufacture a new one and ship it out to them.
I think the benefit for us of being able to maybe slim down the colours and things is, normally we run 7 camps a year, and each camp tends to have their own colour for that year. So for example, junior last year we had red t-shirts, so we would choose our colours beforehand and then say, actually, you can either have a polo or this shirt, and actually we only give a choice of 7 colours this year or whatever. So slimming down the number of options that we have isn't necessarily a bad thing for us.
No, because the following year you could just pick another 7 colours.
You just change it, and then that gives us maybe the option to do a Christmas decoration ahead of the Christmas party or whatever. So actually, if we just think a bit smarter with it, we can easily, I think, do like that £9 limit of 50 items or whatever might not actually hinder us that much.
Yeah, and another thing to consider is, so far it's been a camp decision what they do. It's just worth thinking, is that useful, or do we want actually summer 2021, this is the fab thing?
Absolutely, I agree.
At Newman, we are all supplied with 2 t-shirts at the beginning of each holiday, but the reason so we're not saying that, we can get them to pay for it still, but it's all the same. But when you have it in the publicity, it's really clear that this is all volunteering that happened for that year.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great idea.
And then you collect them over the years, so it's worth exploring, isn't it? We have to decide now, but
yeah,
there's some really interesting ways that you can I don't like the term hack it, but you can. So for example, we had requests for ages from different clubs saying, oh, can we do a starter pack, or can we do a like a accumulation of different. Now, to give you that functionality is quite complicated, and I think for most people it would be a bit eyes would glaze over. So but what we found is that we found some clubs, right, so this is their shop that they've done for their thing, and can you see they've got a club starter pack there? So you go on to the club starter pack and it's got some size choices. Now what they've done there is they've actually created this as their own item. So they've gone into our creator product, and this is their own item, and the choices they've written are these sizes. But then what they've done is they've created a hidden shop page that no one can see, that only they can see, with these 3 items on it. So when they get an order for the starter pack, they then go onto their own shop page and order those 3 different items individually to send to them, and then they can fulfill the order. So they've kind of hacked it a bit to create a starter pack, and they've done some other really great things. So the second-hand things, they've collected used football boots from different kids, and they've got a whole page of used football boots on there, and loads of things that they've done. So there's lots of really cool. We've got a hockey club, I think. Yeah, Bedford Hockey. So they do the 500 and 100 club. So people pay £1 a month, so £12, and then each month they do the lottery where people can win 50% of whatever. So they've come up with that. They collect their club subscriptions. They've got their playing kit, which is obviously Under Armour. We've done that. We work with Under Armour to pull together their kit there. So, yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Andrew's just dropped out. Can you let him back in the waiting room?
Oh, sorry.
His connection dropped. Thank you.
Okay. Good old Wi-Fi. There you go. Sorry, Andrew. Welcome back. Didn't see you'd gone.
That's all right. Don't worry. Just one thing quickly from me, just from a bit of experience. I obviously haven't heard the last part of the conversation, but I heard a bit of it before I fell off. Totally agree about how we can slim things down and sort of come up with colours for different years, etc. The only thing that I'd add to that is that once we had the flexibility of this shop, which we'd never had before, obviously. So we were just choosing one colour per year, and it was all very complicated to get set up. But once we had the flexibility of the shop, an unexpected and good, quite exciting consequence was the amount of volunteers who just built their fab wardrobe around it. So you would actually quite surprise, you know, we would offer to sort of get in place all the orange t-shirts for that particular year, and the volunteers would all put their money into that, and the leaders would get them. But then quite a few of them would then arrive with about 4 other t-shirts for each other day. And huge numbers of volunteers have been doing that, actually. We never expected them to, but that's what so many of them did. So I think it's just worth remembering that that phenomena took place, and a lot of the volunteers really liked that option.
Yeah.
And so
I've frequently gone on and ordered several items for myself in one go, you know, different things. I've fancied a jacket because I'm doing talks in the winter, and, you know, different things. So I've got fleeces and jackets and hoodies and, you know, like a wardrobe of things, because it's my job, you know. So yeah.
Well, on Venture, Phil, Phoebe, Tim, and Sunil all turned up one year, and they bought all their own t-shirts for each day. So just remembering that that's been a desire and that they've spent money doing it, it's probably worth just remembering that, and maybe coming to some kind of happy medium or halfway house on that to allow that kind of,
definitely,
you know.
And fab t-shirts are sacred. Like everyone I know from Fab has got a separate drawer for their fab t-shirts, or they keep, do you know what I mean? And they're somewhere special. That's why we use the t-shirts as the advert for this year's camp. Like,
well, I think we're due for a committee meeting next week, aren't we? So we can talk about the kind of the ins
I
and
think
outs
so.
of our management of it, and ins and outs of how our people have used it. Now we know there's so much more functionality, which is brilliant. That allows us, I think, as one of the things that we can really target in our next committee meeting, which is Tuesday next week, coincidentally, to be able to really focus on people's views of how this has been used in the past and how we can move forward using this.
Yeah,
brilliant. And thinking about that, one of the people you'll have around the table, as it were, who definitely has used the shop a lot, purely off their own back, is Phil, and he often stays quiet in meetings. So it's worth asking Phil his experience if he doesn't pipe up with it, because he's definitely used the shop more than the average person.
Just one more question about when we go into manage items.
Yes.
When we have a limit, I think at the moment it's either, I think we need to, if we want some more functionality back, we need to trim it down to 25 items, go for the 50 items. Is that 50 active items or 50 items within the item?
I think it is active, yes. I think it is active.
So if we deactivate a load but don't want to necessarily get rid of them, that we know actually over the summer, between Easter and summer, we're going to sell most of our hoodies and pre-camp stuff, then we can almost switch all those off and switch to a Christmas stock. So we could then sell Christmas cards, and we could sell or Christmas decorations. And
you could do that.
Coats. So we can switch on and off as long as it's only that number of active items.
Yes. I mean, the nice thing with having an on-demand system like this is the fact that you can try things out. And so you could introduce something, or, you know, in lots of colours, and whichever one's the colour that really sells, you can then get rid of the rest of them. Do you know what I mean? And so you don't need to order masses of stock. You can kind of try it out, work out what colours resonate most with your supporters, keep those, and then move on to the next product and work out what so you could do it a bit like that. It might take a bit of time, but if you want to, just as a sort of a shortcut, because sometimes to delete a product, you hide it and then you press delete. And so it's not letting me unhide it now, because we're anyway, you've got your down one burgundy rucksack.
Never liked that one anyway. So
sorry about that. To delete a bunch of products, if you go, so you can see that t-shirts, for example, they've got 44 items. If you delete this shop page, it deletes all those items as well. So it's quite a quick way of purging all your stuff.
But at the moment, just to clarify, we wouldn't then get that back at all.
No, exactly. So yes.
John, sorry to be a pain. Can
yes.
you just let me back? I'm also in the waiting room again now, but on my computer. Could you just let me back in, and then I'll come off my phone?
Okay. I think I've got to. Oh, here we go. Participants. There you go. You should come on soon. Right. So the last few things. So orders. I won't go in there because it's got personal details, but I'll show you this example school shop that we set up. So when you go into orders, there's a few tabs here that are quite interesting. So order history. This is where that you can download an order CSV of everybody that's ordered everything. And that's where you can do, because everybody's familiar with using a CSV. That's where you can then do some data analysis. You could say, oh, burgundy hoodies, we've sold loads of those, or whatever. So that's a really good document where, and you can also see how much you've raised and blah, blah, blah. It's a really good file. The other thing we do on this page, and it's takes a bit of time to get your head around it, but it's worth it, is this collection requests page. Now, when we started this thing 4 odd years ago, we thought, right, obviously we charge a home delivery fee. I think it's £4.80 for every order, but we've managed to make it free if you order 10 items or more. But obviously your customers, your supporters, it'd be a big ask to ask them to order 10 items or more. So so what we thought is, how can we bring the cost of delivery down? Because it's so, you know, no one likes paying delivery, but unfortunately you have to pay it. So what we did was we've developed this over the years, and we call it a collection. So when a supporter cuts to the checkout, they get an option of whether they want to have it home delivered, where there's obviously that fee, or they can collect from you. And if they collect from you, their order request comes in this panel, and it's kind of like color coded. It also comes in this panel if we think you've got the stock for it as well. So, and this is where you kind of manage it. It's quite difficult to show it because it's blank at the moment, but there's a video on certain pages. When you click on a certain page, let me show you here, just watch this top space here. You see that little video pops up. So on certain pages, there's a video that you can watch that explains all about that particular section. And so if you watch that, it kind of details it. You can also switch it from manual to auto, so that, because at the moment this is manual, so when all the order requests come in, you can choose when to order the items that you need from us and group them all together. And so long as there's over 10 items in the grouped orders, you get free delivery. So it manages to circumvent the issue. And we also pack it individually per customer as well, so that when you get it, it's really easy for you to just hand it out. You can notify them to come and collect with whatever notification text you want. So we've made it as easy as it can be for something fairly complicated and administrative.
What if someone was to select for it to be collected?
Yes.
So they don't pay, but then you never reach that 10 items before you needed them. I'm just thinking, kind of, we have cut-offs before camp where we'll need to say, well, actually the camp goes tomorrow, so we need, or next week, so we need them sent now. What if we've only reached 9?
Then you have to make a choice of whether to delete and refund the customer and ask them to put another order in with home delivery, or you pay the postage, and some of that profit you maybe have made goes to cover that postage. But it's your choice. However, there is another feature, and it's called auto. So you click that button there, it switches to auto, and it then means that the customer, they're going to collect from you, but their postage is half price, so it's £2.40. And when there's 2 orders made, we then automate the collection request. So it automatically manufactures and sends to you, because they've both paid for that delivery. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
So there's a couple of options there. It's a little bit complicated, but it makes sense logically. We really love it because it does reduce carbon footprint. It's only one delivery for multiple orders, all that kind of stuff. The only thing with this auto is, and we say this especially to schools, is that if they've got it on, our system just does it automatically. So if it's during holiday time, we could be shipping to a school that's closed. So remember to switch it off, you know, or whatever. So
for us, we'd have it off at the moment, but during camp we might switch it on.
Yeah, well, we did. Have you heard of Eurocamp, which is a big scouts thing?
Yeah.
So they used our platform for their thing, and they had it all shipped to the field wherever they were, but it was separated all into the different countries.
Oh wow!
So it's pretty cool. So right, so that's that. Shop design, right? So this is where, and you've already put something here. Andrew's obviously built this. So on your shop, there's a help and information page. Oh no, this is me. Let's go to yours. Where's you? Here we go. Shop design, right? Okay, so on this page, you can add text for whatever you want. Sometimes the school might put uniform policy. You can put an intro to something, whatever you want. When you go to your shop, I'll just go to your shop now. So can you see here, it says help and information at the top. So when you click that, it goes to this page, and whatever you write on this, oh God, hang on a minute, just try and find it again. This page will appear, and you can add images, videos, text, whatever you want to do. So that's a really good page to, when people are wanting a bit of help on your shop, you can stick it there about what you want to put. Also banners. So your homepage has got this banner at the moment. And actually, if and when you upgrade, you can have multiple banners on different shop pages. It's a setting. So for example, the Sack store, they've got this banner on this page, but when you go to, I don't know, art exhibition, they've got another banner on that page. So it's sort of, it means you can design different banners. Again, it's quite good visually. Just out of interest on this one, so their students submit their artwork, and we've created a virtual art gallery that you can walk around and see their art. And then at the end, you can buy their artwork on the shop. So we're basically like the virtual gift shop at the end of the museum walk. It's quite funny. Right, so let's go back to where we are. So banners are really good, and you've got design settings here that you can tick or disable once you've unlocked those with an upgrade. Marketing could do with a bit of work, to be honest. We've got like a notice board poster. It's a bit rubbish. We basically put your logo in the top of the thing, and it's purchase your charity uniform. It's a bit dated, but there is a button that you could put on your website. That's the link that you can then link it through to. We can also do custom URLs. So if you wanted to create a fabcampsshop.com or something like that, we can do that. And anything else? I think that's pretty much the full, 360-degree 101 tour. It just shows you, it takes a bit of getting used to, but once you've set the shop up, the only page you'd need to here and there come back to is this orders tab, and just see, what's going on, and, to manage it. Or if you want to come up with some new items and add those, you might want to then go and add those here. But once you get used to it, it's really super quick.
Perfect.
Lovely. Well, I really like it. I think I wouldn't have had a clue if you hadn't have given us the tour. So that's brilliant. I think it's really good, and it's going to take some work, and I think we're going to have to get together and have a real rethink. But I do like the shop very much. Lovely. Well,
the thing that I mean, when I talked about the sponsorship of things, one school did that. So they had an estate agent in their town, and they were paying them something like £200 a year to have a banner on a hedge at their summer fair. And then someone came up with the idea, why don't we print the estate agent's logo on our PE kit, on our sports kit, and they managed to get £2,000 from them for that, because it was an all year round. The parents are ironing it every week. It's a much more quantifiable commercial decision for the local business. So there's all these sort of things which actually is not really related to our platform, but it just opens up the opportunities to do it on our platform. And that's, so if you start thinking a bit outside the box, as you say, get together and think about the different strategies you can do, there's a huge amount of things that you can use it for, and things that we've never really thought. I mean, we had some students once, they were doing this for their enterprise project, and they noticed that a lot of parents at certain shows they had or whatever were always turning up late, and they had to stand at the back of the hall. So they agreed with their head teacher to reserve the front 2 rows, so that if somebody, so they could have a dedicated seat, and they sold them on their shop. And so, you know, there's lots of people coming up with different ideas for how you can use it. But we think we've basically given, out of those 6 modules, we've given every type of option to add whatever you want onto your shop, so that your parents can, or so your supporters can do everything in one place, rather than go here for that and here for that, and et cetera, et cetera.
Just a couple of practical questions I've got. If it talks about the fact that on the free account, which I think we're on, that your percentage is 8%.
Yes.
So is that on everything? So if we sell a hoodie, there's the unit price, and then you take 8%, and then we get the rest, or is that?
So on the products that we provide, our fulfillment fee includes that, right?
Okay.
And we actually call it the margin fee. So what that means is that, let's say, just to give an example, our manufacturing fee was £10 for something. You decided to charge £20 for it. That £10 margin that you've made, our fee is on that.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not on the whole thing. It's on the bit that you're making additionally.
Okay. So you take, what is that, 80p off, and then we'd get the rest.
Exactly.
And is that the same then if we were to sell tickets, if we were to sell our own items, so sell the front seats of a concert and those kind of things, that 8% is just your handling fee for any item?
Exactly. And that fee comes down, because obviously we're having to pay card transaction fees and all this kind of stuff as well. So that percentage comes down depending on what level of subscription. So that's, so not only are you unlocking the fact that you can add more items, you're sort of, so long as you're selling more, you can make more as well, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. And I think the one thing that I was just looking through as well, our shop is pretty much unfunctional at the moment, because I think now the upgrade you've done to your pricing structure means that we've got 4 shop pages, but I think we should be limited to only 1, or
I think it's 2. I think is it 1 or is it 2? I don't know. I can't remember.
It's 2 for the student one.
Shop pages, yeah.
2, yeah.
So even then, we can't create another shop page, because we're almost trapped in this limbo between the free account that we were given, with obviously, and I understand that you've had to kind of upgrade your terms, but we were obviously given that with far better terms than we're allowed to function under at the moment.
I know it's grating. We've got more than we should have. I know it's nice, tempting, but you know, I think if you want to, now that we've gone through this and you know all the possibilities, right, and if you as a trustee group are behind it, you can make loads more using it properly, and it's insignificant the amount of money you pay each month.
Yeah, and I think it's for us though, I think a big decision, like Andrew has already said, it was never meant to necessarily make us thousands of pounds a year. It was meant to allow us to offer items out. So we're going to have to be a bit canny. Can we at least make £100 off this a year to cover the £100 a year that it's going to cost us to have the shop? And if we can break even, then I think it might be very worth.
That's good enough for us,
upgrading.
But you already have what's.
So we've got 3 years paid for already.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Without doing anything on the margins that we've charged already, which is quite an interesting prospect. But yeah, just having a look at then the other terms. So on the next one up, that we don't get to sell the local business items, but I don't think that's a thing that we're going to want to do anyway. Just having a look at what we don't get on the upgrade, if that makes sense.
Well, we just sell
to be
less,
honest,
don't we?
it's pretty much most things, as we say.
Yeah.
It's all the basics. That's what it is on the standard thing. All the basics. Do we
get the second-hand thing on the basics?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's a good one. The only thing is it's slightly limited on the number of items. So it's 50 items, but you should really, as we've been talking about, 50 is quite a lot of items.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially if I think it would be nice. We used to do it that we used to almost be able to track back. Oh, that must have been 2003 because we were all in purple, or that was 2005 because we were all.
I think you're right. It would be nice.
And there is a niceness about that, that we can be very tailor-made, which is nice. So I think that opens up a lot more options for us. There was one last question that came and has gone. So if anybody else has got any questions,
My only question is, do you think it's definitely still feasible for us to be able to sort our FabFest, our new t-shirts, and kind of out and ordered, because in a month
We really need to do that now, don't we?
we have FabFest is in a month. So do you think we have a month to be able to
Well, we sent out an email this morning, I think, to everyone saying that if you want it by the end of by September, it's more for uniform and everything, that you need to order by the end of next week. But it's the sooner you can get, because suppliers and everything are still operating. They're bringing more employees back, but they are operating slightly more. And now the government's kind of intimated that everybody's coming back in September, sort of. I mean, they could still change their mind. Who knows what's going on? But I think people are starting to think, God, I need to get, I've held off from ordering this. And I think there's going to be a tsunami of orders quite shortly.
So John,
Sorry, would it be quicker if we ordered print? Or would
to be honest, it's not. No, it's neither.
Yeah, for me, it's not necessary that we'll have them beforehand, but we'll definitely have a commemorative T-shirt for the year. Even if that comes in September, it will have commemorated the event, and we can have those items as commemorative items.
So John, can people hear me? So no guarantee. We're working with no guarantee that we can get things for the first week of August. Then that's sort of gone.
First week of August. I mean, it depends when you order it, right? So if we tend to we like to say that we'll try and ship within 14 days of order, but if you add another week on to that for a cushion, then maybe, and having had this conversation, and I'll try and make sure that we sort of prioritize it through the business. So, but the sooner you can get that order in, the better. But you obviously need to add those items to your shop, and obviously there's a question about what do you disable or whatever. So you just need to focus on it for the next day or two, and just make some decisions on it, because otherwise.
Did I see there was somewhere that we could? How do we look at? So we put the logo up, and then just thinking moving forward again, which is the question that I had, which has reminded me. I was trying to get my head around the file formats and what we have to pay for in design and what we don't have to pay for in design. So I'm very aware that to have it turned into stitches for an embroidery, there's no way we can do that. It has to go through your in-house design or a design team somewhere. Yes. Yeah. And there's a cost £25, £24.
Yeah, £24 it is, yeah.
But if it was a printed item, then if we provided you with the right formats, then that circumnavigates the
document talks about that, and it needs to be a particular type of vector file. And it needs to have the curved vectors, because basically what happens is when we print, it's not just like sticking it on a Canon printer. It basically cuts. When you get stickers and you can kind of peel them off quite easily, they've been very precisely cut around that sticker. So basically there's a cutter involved in the printer that cuts around the print in a very and it follows the vector line. So it has to be a vector print, which is an EPS curved vector. I think it says it in that design guide.
Brilliant.
So long as you provide that, then that's okay. Otherwise, I think it's £12 charge or something or other that we.
So having logos put onto the back. So if you wanted back pieces put on and stuff, as long as we can provide you in the right format, then
Yes.
then there's no extra cost in setting those up.
No.
So I'm just thinking if we wanted to then put something on the back, we wouldn't have to be paying then to do that.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then so I noticed when you pulled something up, was it under logos that there was a scan of our current logo? How do we authorize that now? How do we?
So we're just at the So I was waiting on you to make a decision whether you wanted a sample stitched out or not.
Okay, sorry, I thought I'd email back to say to go ahead with that.
Okay, because I think because of the complexity, I think we need to do it. So
yeah, I just thought when you pulled something up, it looked like there was a picture of it and then a stitched version again next to it again.
Yeah,
there was there. So yeah.
Yeah, so this is so you uploaded this. This is a picture taken from a digitizing file that we've got.
Right.
But we haven't stitched it out yet. So it's basically it's in, but you can't see this pop up. Only we can see it in our processing thing.
Right.
So so basically I could move it to needs approval now if I wanted to, but I'm not doing that until I feel happy that it's correct, because sometimes they can do a digitizing file and it looks good, but when they stitch it out, because it's quite complicated, there's a lot of different things there. So for example, the black going around the white, going around, there's lots and lots and lots of different, and I'd prefer us to be sure that it's going to be correct rather than, and that's why we have this kind of sampling or approval process, because it's important. You're a brand and you've got to protect your brand, if you see what I mean.
So do we know when that embroidered option will be there to authorize? Just thinking we're on the
to be honest, it's not stopping you from adding it at the moment. Obviously, the only thing that's stopping you is your account, but you can actually add. So if I go to, I don't know, an item here, might not let me add it because it's a small little thing, but anyway, let's see if I can.
I know Jen's getting very excited at this point. We've got a pregnancy imminent for one of our volunteers, and Jen's been like, I wonder where I can get a baby grow from.
So I mean, actually, I'd probably, for that type of thing, I'd probably add it to the center front. I think that would be better. And so you can add that design to it, and it just comes up with a pop-up saying, you've had a design that you've not approved. You can still purchase, but it'll be not be manufactured until you've approved. Okay. So it will add to your shop. And people can order it. It's just we won't process it until it's approved. So there's nothing stopping you from adding it at the moment.
Do we know when we'll have that approval stitch, though, the stitched version?
Yes, I will send them an email after this call saying go ahead with stitching it out, and then hopefully in the next couple of days I'll have done that. I can send you the high-res photo of it, and it should be all ready to go then.
Excellent. Brilliant. So we could build the shop.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping you from building the shop.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Okay.
Brilliant. So
yeah,
that's fantastic. And just a little plug on FabCamp. So how many members do you have, and how many, how long have you been going as an organisation?
We've been running since 1967.
Yeah.
So just about 53 years. Yeah. And we take about 110 children every year and about 100 volunteers, all completely volunteer led. And so children with and without disabilities away on holiday together, integrated holidays together.
Oh, that's really nice. Which is probably quite hard at the moment.
Very, very difficult. Hence why we're having this extraordinary event for the first time in 53 years of having a virtual FabCamp, which is really exciting, and we're hoping we can pull it off and make it a real success.
Wow. Well, I mentioned to Paul that because we've been working with quite a few artists, I'll just share my screen on that actually and show you what we've been doing. But we've got an artist that she runs an art daycare centre for special needs adults. And so this is our Shopkeep Arty, and these are all our sort of arty classes that are coming up, so you can kind of register for a different artist and blah blah blah. But if you look at the artist, her name's Helga Picknell, she's at the top here, and so I'm sure she would, in fact I emailed her after I talked to Paul, I'm sure she'd be willing to run an art class virtually with membership if you were open to it. And she's done some really interesting, if I go on to the previous arty classes, here we go. So she's done, where's the one that...
Apologies, I've just had the door knock. I'm going to go and answer that and I'll be back imminently.
No problem. So on here, she did this. It was to celebrate VE Day, and it was the White Cliffs of Dover with bluebirds over the White Cliffs of Dover. And you can literally watch the, I'll try and mute it here, and I'll zoom it on. Here we go, watch. And you can see it take shape.
Wow. Through
the thing. And then it eventually finishes, and she's creates this whole thing. It's a really, really interesting... We've got all these different sort of, well, there's me, I don't like looking at me. But these are all the paintings that we had come in. Look at all the different submissions of people sending things in from.
Would we be able to have her email?
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, I'll ask her. Yeah, I'm sure that, I think that was one of her students, Joseph. And yeah, look, age 12, Rishi. We had some really interesting, we get loads of different artwork every week. We're doing one this afternoon. I'm hosting it in about an hour. Brilliant. Okay, well.
Thank you.
Been lovely talking to you all.
Really helpful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jen.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Be hearing from us.
And good luck with the shop.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.